This offense is actually perfect. It has one-play touchdown bombs, unguardable routes, cheesy checkdowns, a solid run game, and the best red zone combos in Madden 26. It was created by a player named ThatGooseGuy, who is consistently ranked as one of the top 50 pros and is currently ranked number 18. Even in the most recent ladder, he finished 4th place, beating players like Henry, Wesley, and Lambo along the way. And you probably guessed it, we're going over the Trips X Nasty offense, which can be found in the following team playbooks on screen. Now we're starting off with the most fun part, the one-play bombs. The first bomb we're gonna be going over is out of slot fade H wheel. And if you're ever wondering what play we're going over, just check the top left corner. And of course, for this one, we pretty much throughout this video are going to have our trips on the wide side of the field. And for this setup, we're gonna streak R1, come back circle, and that's basically it. So if you ever play a cover 3 defense that looks something like this, or really any cover 3, all you have to do is wait for the comeback to pull down the outside third, and then you're gonna throw this streak. So just take a second, wait, he's gonna pull him down, and then you're just gonna throw the streak with a pass lead out, and if you get a good rat catch, that'll be a one-play score every single time. Now you're probably not even gonna believe me on this next one, but this actually bombs cover 0. So if you just put a streak on R1, come back circle, everything is the same, you can actually throw it to R1 for a big chunk gain. But the important thing is that you go to your game options and you have to make sure that your pass lead increase is set to small. If it's not, this just won't work. So you can use placement or placement and accuracy. Now the way this one works is it's actually remarkably simple. You're just gonna wait for that slot cornerback's hips to turn, and in most cases, cover 0 is shaded inside, so you're just gonna pass lead outside. So here we are, snap the ball, his hips turned, pass lead outside, rack catch it, and you're gonna get a huge chunk every single time. And just to show you it is consistent, I'm not gonna have the comeback here. If you know it's man coverage, I don't recommend having the comeback at all. I'm just gonna have R1, right? And we're just gonna wait for that cornerback's hips to turn, pass lead down and inside, get that rat catch, and if you can end up breaking that tackle after pass leading down and outside, it could be a one-play score. Now what if I told you this exact setup bombs a third defense? So if you streak R1, come back circle, this will actually bomb cover 4 quarters shaded underneath, which is one of the most common defenses in the game if they're in dollar, single mug, dime normal, dime rush. There's so many formations where you have to use cover 4 quarters to play a cover 4, and they shade underneath, so it's kind of like a cover 4 drop. But the problem is it still has matching principles built in, so the inside quarter on the trip side is going to drop to the tight end and pretty much leave R1 wide open for an easy touchdown. Now that's with safety depth on close. You can see it's very obvious and it's very wide open, but if they run, let's say, safety depth backed off, so something like this, you're also going to notice that the R1 streak looks something like this, is once again going to be a wide open touchdown. Just take a look. He's just going to completely leave him and drop to the tight end and give us that one-play score. So that's another use case of this play. It bombs cover 3, cover 0, cover 4 quarters, shaded underneath. And on top of that, it's a pretty good combo on its own. If you are playing a cover 4 quarters or any type of zone defense, you have a pretty decent combo. You have, well, number one, if they have hard flats, you could throw this comeback route, right? That's a nice option, a 15-yard check down, if you will. And then on top of that, you have this nice wheel route, which is kind of serves as a check down, but you also have this really, really simple square route that you can throw for 5 to 6 yards. And it kind of hits a soft spot in the zone. So this bomb setup bombs those 3 defenses, and it's just a great setup overall. Now this next setup also bombs 3 different defenses, and it's actually really, really fast, and it's very, very wide open. You can see that was just us bombing cover 4 drop. And the way to set this play up is to streak your tight end, then smart route R1. Now, if you are at a down and distance of 10 yards, all you have to do is stem him up 2.5 more notches. So triangle R1 or Y, then right bumper, same thing. Hold the left bumper 2 times up on the D-pad and then flick the left stick. So that'll be 4.5 notches if you are 10 yards away. But if you aren't 10 yards away, you need to smart route first and then stem him all the way down. Then stem him up 4.5 notches, 1, 2, 3, 4 with the D-pad, and then flick the left stick up. Okay, so it looks something like this. Then you're gonna put circle on an out route, and then stem him up 2.5 notches, 1, 2, half. So the final combo is gonna look something like this. Now you could put a return route on the backside, you could put a drag on the backside. It really is up to you. But the core is this slot fade route. So against a cover 4 drop, and this works identical to cover 3, you're gonna notice that I'm gonna be able to throw R1 for a 1-play score. You're gonna see the out route is gonna pull down the deep outside zone, leaving the slot fade for an easy 1-play touchdown. It's super, super effective. Now, if someone runs a cover 3, I'll set up a cover 3 here. So if someone's in a cover 3, this is gonna work the exact same way. You're gonna see that the outside third is gonna drop. In fact, it's gonna be even more open versus cover 3. So let's set it up. As you can see, it's set up now. Wait about a half second, wait for him to drop. He drops, throw R1, grab it, rack catch it, and get your 1-play score. So versus both cover 4 and cover 3, you can just throw the slot fade for an easy 1-play touchdown, literally every single time. Now this same setup is also going to bomb cover 2. I'm gonna snap the ball, wait for the safety to turn inside, and then pass lead R1 down and outside. You can usually get a nice rack catch or possession catch. But if you noticed, it is a little bit close. So if you know they're in a cover 2, don't get me wrong, you can run that setup if you're unsure. If you're thinking they're in cover 4, cover 3, or cover 2, I'd run that setup because it basically beats them all. But if you know they're in a cover 2, simply just streak your tight end. Don't bother with anything else. You can out route circle if you want to, but you can just streak your tight end. And the stock slot fade will do a fantastic job at just getting outside of the deep half for a quick, easy dot. So if you don't want to do the elaborate setup and you know they're in cover 2, you can run the version where you just streak your tight end. But nevertheless, with the elaborate setup, you can see it will still bomb cover 2. You just got to have the right timing. So you got to wait till he turns in, and as soon as he turns in, pass lead down and outside and get that nice possession catch, right? So that one is universal, but if you want a quicker version, you could just streak your tight end. Now this next play bombs literally any defense with an inside third. The inside third will literally just freeze, and then you can throw it right over him for a 1-play score just like that. And it's in the play motion spot wide corner. Once again, trips on the wide side of the field as always. And to set it up, we're gonna put our tight end on an in route, stem him up 2 times, and drag the R1 receiver. So the final combo is gonna look something like this, right? So it's gonna look like this, okay? Now this is particularly good against any version of cover 3, maybe it's a cover 2 hybrid, anything like that, you're going to be able to beat very, very well, okay? And what's gonna happen here is the in route is gonna cause the inside third to freeze, allowing us to throw the square route for an easy dot. Now right there, square got bumped, so we're just gonna throw our in route, super easy dot. It's a great route combo as is. But what happens is, as long as square doesn't get bumped, he gets bumped in practice mode quite a lot, but in game, he never gets bumped. You're gonna notice that the inside third is going to freeze, right? He's going to freeze as soon as the in route starts to cut. So just take a look here. He's going to freeze, and then you're gonna be able to just throw it right over him, right? And that's a 1-play score very, very, very consistently. So just for the logic here, because it is important that you guys see it, what happens is this inside third, who's responsible for covering square, is going to see this in route, and he's going to freeze. He's going to just stop backpedaling to the streak, and then you're just going to throw it over him for a 1-play score. So that's motion spot wide corner, the inside third freezer, pretty much the inside third killer. Before we get into the unguardable routes, cheesy checkdowns, and red zone offense you can't live without, I need to show you the resource that top players are using to stay months ahead of everyone else. And that resource is victoryformation.gg. Currently home to 5 complete game plans and 40+ elite tips, with new updates every single week. We also had ThatGooseGuy, the creator of this scheme, drop his official Bucs offensive game plan on the site. And it takes the Trips X Nasty to a whole nother level, with way more route combos, written setups, and in-depth breakdowns. Now our members are consistently dominating online, crushing their league competition, and even stacking hundreds of dollars in tournament wins. So if you're ready to join the winning team, you can get your first month for only $11.95 using code SWOLO. To beat elite players, you need routes that no zone or man can guard, and that's what we have for you in this section. Starting with this unstoppable setup in slot fade H wheel. And to create this unstoppable route combo, all you have to do is put a flat on your slot receiver and a return on your solo receiver. And against every single zone defense in the game, you're gonna be able to throw this delay route for a big gain, 10, 15 yards plus. You can make a man miss even more. And you're also going to be able to throw this return route. They both attack a soft spot in zone coverage that literally no zone in the game can guard. So take, for example, this cover 4 drop. Even if I shade outside and underneath with 2 hook zones, you're gonna see that both the return route and the delay route are wide open. You can see, boom, Easy dot every single time. Both of them wide open. Now against man coverage, they're also going to be open. So take, for example, if I man them both up, just like so there's 2 man coverage defenders on each player, or rather 1 on each player, you're gonna actually see that this delay route, open, still open. Easy aggressive catch right in front of the man coverage defender. Even though it looks covered, it is actually still open. So for example, let's check out the return route versus man coverage. You're gonna see sometimes he'll just outrun him completely and you could just throw it and not have to aggressive catch it at all. So that's how you create this unstoppable slot fade H wheel setup where you have 2 basically unguardable routes. Not to mention, we also have this insane unguardable whip route into play high-low dig. And to set this play up, all you're going to do is put an out route on your outside most trips receiver and a return route on your solo receiver. And just like before, the return route is unguardable. It's always going to be open against everything on that solo side of the field. So as long as you pair it with a flat, you're gonna have it. But the focus of this play is actually this whip route, where it's basically the same case. No zone defense can guard it. It's gonna take this elongated route and it's always going to attack that soft spot in zone coverage. And then if they use man coverage, let's say they man up R1, you can once again still throw it with an aggressive catch afterwards. So once again, you're gonna see right there, he was actually just beat his man, which can happen a lot of the time. So you have that unguardable return route and the unguardable whip route in this high-low dig setup. Now this is where we get into the cheesy checkdown routes that we get in this offense that are basically unstoppable. Starting with the crab route that Goose will spam into play high-low cross. The best way to set up high-low cross is to streak your solo receiver and come back your outside trips receiver with the final route combo looking something like this. And when you snap the ball, your main read is going to be this running back route that's super effective, and you can get some monster gains out of it, especially if they're in that cover 0 meta. Now eventually, they're probably gonna get out of man, and they're gonna put hard flats on the field, right? They're gonna get in zone, they're gonna try to take it away. But that's when you can actually look to your secondary read, the comeback. Now this route, this running back route, yanks down hard flats so early in the play that the comeback is just wide open, and it's a super easy dot. Not to mention, on the other side of the field, if they do go and cover both or switch stick, you have this really nice tight end crossing route that can be wide open, and then the drag if they're playing deeper flats. So this play is super insane and is one of the cheesiest checkdown options you have in this offense. The other cheesy route you have access to is the speed table, which can be found in the play high-low dig. Now to set up high-low dig, to really take advantage of the speed table, you're gonna wanna drag your tight end and out route your outside most trips receiver, and then stem down your solo receiver like so. Now what this ends up doing is flooding the short side of the field while having an unguardable route on the wide side of the field. But in most cases, you're just gonna throw the speed table because no man coverage can guard it, and you can get some pretty monster gains by throwing it simply because the speed table runs so fast. And then if they go and run hard flats, let's say they run a hard flat to go take away that speed table, that's actually completely okay, because what we can actually end up doing is throwing this stem down C route. You can see, hits a nice soft spot in the zone, really just grab it, possession, catch it to the sideline. And that's not to mention on the other side of the field that we have the unguardable whip route combo that we talked about earlier. As you can see, just completely unguarded. So this combo is the best for taking advantage of the speed table while also having that unguardable whip route as an option for you. The most underrated part of this offense is its run game, where you can bite off easy chunk yardage against the meta defenses with both inside zone and HB off tackle. There's 2 things you need to pay attention to effectively run in this offense. Number 1 is you need to make sure that your running back's on the right of screen so you can get that fast handoff and really break off those nice large runs. If you get a slow handoff, you're gonna get tackled in the backfield, and that's really something you don't want. The other thing you wanna pay attention to is who is untargeted. For example, on this HB off tackle, it's the backside defensive end, which is completely fine because we can outrun him. But on this inside zone, it's the linebacker on the left. So we're actually just running straight into him, and we're gonna end up not getting any yards out of it. Maybe we lose a tackle battle too and lose even more yards. But what we can do in a lot of these cases is we can switch who's untargeted by flicking up on the right stick, and let's say we're gonna untarget this middle linebacker. So now when we run inside zone, we can probably take it outside, and the middle linebacker is actually the one that goes and makes the tackle on us. So you can strategically play around with this and kind of say, okay, if the middle linebacker is untargeted, we just wanna get away from him. And if we get away from him, you can see I just got a monster gain. And we'd rather have him untargeted than literally anyone else, right? So that's why I think the offense or the run offense in Trips X Nasty is so good, especially if you play it smart by number one, having your running back on the right and untargeting the right person. And you can bite off some really, really huge gains using those two runs. Now, none of this matters if you can't score in the red zone. So we have two of the best red zone combos in the game for you, as well as the best red zone run play. Now, red zone combo number one looks something like this, and you have three primary reads: the return, the deep post, and the slant. Now, in many cases, the deep post is going to be open over the middle over most defenses, and it's an easy dot. But in other cases, you're gonna have the other reads. So let me show you how to set up this play first. What we're going to do is slant our tight end, put a curl route on our solo receiver, stem that curl all the way down, so it looks like this, put a post in our slot, and then stem up that post a couple notches to the back of the end zone, and a return on square. Now, most of the time, you're gonna go against a cover two with hard flats because people don't wanna give up those underneath plays so close to the end zone. And what that actually ends up doing for us is, number one, really opening up this return route in that soft spot in the zone, so you're always going to have that. And then on top of that, if they are running hard flats, you'll also be able to throw this slant route. Now, let me set up the full combo. The hitch route's actually gonna hold down any hard flat zones, allowing us to throw the tight end slant in the back of the end zone underneath any deep zones, right? Right there, we overthrew it, but nonetheless, it is going to be open a large majority of the time. I'm not gonna set up the full combo here, but you're gonna actually see that the hitch route is gonna hold down that hard flat, and we're actually gonna be able to throw the tight end for an easy dot in that little corner of the end zone there, right? So it's a super easy play that you can use, and you have three great options that you can throw on it. Now, this combo, you've probably seen earlier in the video, we're gonna be utilizing two unguardable routes out of the play high-low dig. We're gonna put a return on our solo receiver and an out route on our outside trips receiver. And in almost every case, you're gonna be able to throw the return in this soft spot and walk into the end zone because literally no zone can guard it. And then in other cases, you're actually going to look to the elongated whip route on the trip side. Once again, wait about a second. You can see he's gonna hit that nice soft spot in the zone, and you're pretty much gonna walk into the end zone in both cases. So that's red zone combo number two, super self-explanatory, and you're throwing to one of two unguardable routes. Now, the insane red zone run I was talking about is QB zone or QB power to trips tight end, and this is the reason Goose only uses the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playbook, because these runs are insane. Like, they're actually worth just running the playbook for. If you get to the outside against most defenses, you're gonna just walk into the end zone, right? And you're also in a set that you could pass out of if you wanted to, so they have to respect it. But you can see, you just walk into the end zone of QB zone, and the majority of the time out of QB power. And this isn't even a bad defense to run. This is nickel 3-3 Cub, which should do a good job at guarding it, but simply does not. You can see I'm actually just walking to the end zone. Let's actually call a different defense. Let's call it cover 3 buzz. You're gonna see, even though they have that extra person there, we're gonna be able to just walk into the end zone. And a lot of the time you could speed burst outside and get a monster gain. So this play is just insane. And this is the reason Goose actually runs the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playbook, because you can only find Trips X Nasty and Trips Tight End in that playbook. Now that you have the perfect offense at your disposal, you'll want the perfect defense. So click the video on screen to jump right into it.